All right, let's dive into this. Money and motivation. Hmm? It's one of those things, everyone's got an opinion on it.
Yeah, it's fascinating, isn't it? That drive we all have to earn, to be rewarded.
But it's funny, right? Because how many times have you heard someone say, money isn't everything?
Oh, yeah, all the time. But then you see them chasing those raises and those bonuses.
Exactly. So actions speak louder than words, maybe?
Could be.
Well, we're going to dig into this today. Using a research article. It's called What Monetary Rewards Can and Cannot Do, How to Show Employees the Money.
Catchy title.
Right. It's by Herman Aguinis.
A Guinness, like the beer.
Yep. Aguinis, Harry Jew, and Ryan K. Godfredson. It was published in Business Horizon, so, it's the real deal, not just some blog post.
Definitely.
And really digs into some interesting stuff, like how powerful money really is as a motivator.
It's more powerful than a lot of people realize. It often beats out things like social recognition, or just getting positive feedback.
Yeah. It's like that scene in Jerry Maguire's Show Me the Money.
Classic. Everyone remembers that.
Right. It's so iconic. And, Aguinis and his colleagues, they found that. Monetary rewards are consistently ranked as one of the strongest motivators.
Mm-hmm. Top of the list.
And there was even one study they cited that showed, on average, a 30% jump in productivity after introducing monetary incentives.
That's a pretty significant impact.
Huge. But here's the thing. Employee surveys, they often downplay the importance of money.
Yeah, it's kind of paradox.
So what's going on there?
People might not say that money is their main motivator, but look at their actions. Compensation is a major factor when people are deciding whether to take a job, for example.
It's true. When I think back on my own career, salary, and benefits, they definitely influenced my choices.
Absolutely.
Okay, so we've established money, powerful motivator. But is it always a good thing?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
What does the research say about that?
Well, this is where it gets really interesting. Because sometimes these big incentives, they can backfire, and you end up with the opposite of what you wanted.
You mean like people cutting corners just to get the reward?
Yeah.
We're focusing on the wrong things.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There's this classic story about the Green Giant Company, the frozen vegetables.
I love their broccoli.
Right.
Okay.
Well, they used to reward their employees for, taking bugs out of the vegetables.
Makes sense.
But then some of the workers, they got a little too clever, and they started bringing bugs from home.
No way.
Yeah, they were planting bugs in the veggies just so they could find them and get the reward.
Oh, wow. That's co-creative, I guess. But definitely not what they intended.
Nope. It's a perfect example of how things can go wrong, even when you think you've got a good system.
It seems like the problem wasn't the money itself, though. Maybe it was how they set up the reward system.
You're hitting on a key point here. The authors talk about the importance of defining and measuring performance. You got to be specific about what you want people to achieve.
Right, so you don't accidentally reward them for finding loopholes.
Exactly. It's about rewarding the right things.
So is that like the first principle for designing a good reward system?
It is. It's absolutely crucial. Get that wrong, and you're asking for trouble.
Okay, so principle number 1, define and measure performance accurately. What else should we be thinking about?
Well, the next principle is about making those rewards truly contingent on performance. You got to move away from the participation trophy mentality. Higher performance should equal higher rewards.
So it's not enough to just have a performance-based system. There's got to be a real difference in the rewards between the high performers and, everyone else.
Right. If everyone's getting roughly the same bonus no matter how much effort they put in, why bother going the extra mile?
I've definitely been in workplaces where it felt like that. And it's demotivating for sure.
Absolutely. It can lead to the sense of, is this even fair? Which brings us to the third principle, justice in the reward system.
Okay, how do we make sure our rewards are seen as fair? I mean, that seems pretty important if we want people to be motivated.
It's huge. And the authors, they actually break fairness down into 3 parts: distributive justice, procedural justice, and interactional justice. Distributive justice is all about, are the outcomes fair? Are the rewards given out in a way that feels equitable based on, who did what?
So if someone's consistently going above and beyond, they should be rewarded for that, right?
Yeah.
And it shouldn't look like favoritism or anything like that.
Exactly. Then there's procedural justice, which is about how fair the process is for deciding those rewards. Are the rules clear? Is it objective?
So it's not just about the end result, but how you got there.
That's it. And finally, there's interactional justice, which is all about how are people treated during this whole process. with respect? Is there good communication?
So it's about the whole experience, creating a culture of respect and transparency around rewards.
Absolutely. If you want people to feel motivated, they need to trust that the system's fair, that they'll be treated right no matter what.
Makes sense. It's about more than just the money itself.
You got it. Now, the fourth principle is about timing. You want to reward employees in a timely manner because the closer that reward is to the behavior you're trying to encourage, the stronger the connection is.
Right. So are we talking about like handing out bonuses every time someone does something good?
Not necessarily. I mean, it's not always practical to do it immediately, but there are other ways to provide that timely recognition.
Okay, like what?
You could use fake currencies or reward points, things people can accumulate and then trade in later, for cash or other stuff.
Like those energy bucks or Bravo points I've heard about.
Yeah. It's a fun way to recognize people right away, and then they can cash in down the line. It's like those old arcade games where you win tickets to get prizes.
I love that. All right, so 4 principles down. Define and measure performance, make rewards contingent on performance, maintain justice in the reward system, and reward employees in a timely manner. What's the 5th one?
The fifth principle is all about recognizing that money isn't the only thing that motivates people. We need to use both monetary and non-monetary rewards to create a system that really works.
Okay, so like praise, opportunities for professional development, a flexible work schedule.
All that and more. Those non-monetary rewards can be really powerful, especially when they're personalized to what that individual employee actually wants.
It's like you could give someone a gift card, but if it's not to a store they actually like, it's not that meaningful.
Exactly. You got to understand what motivates each individual person. And don't be afraid to think outside the box. Maybe someone would love a prime parking spot or the chance to work from home a couple days a week.
Or maybe they'd love to lead a special project, something that helps them grow.
That's the idea. It's about finding those unique perks that really resonate.
So non-monetary rewards, it's funny how sometimes those can feel even more like personal than like a straight up bonus check.
Yeah, they can be pretty impactful. And it's not just about, a pat on the back. Those non-monetary rewards, they can have real value.
You mean like tangible stuff, gift cards, maybe even travel vouchers.
Yeah, things like that. Especially if you tie it to, something the employee enjoys.
It's the difference between like getting a random gift card and one to your favorite store. One's just, the other one feels like someone gets you.
Exactly. And then, of course, there's professional development. That's a big one for a lot of people.
Training programs, conferences, stuff like that.
Right. For someone who's really looking to level up their skills, that can be huge. More meaningful than like a one-time bonus.
Makes sense. It's an investment in them,
It is. And it shows you're invested in their growth. Now, remember those 4 principles we talked about for monetary rewards.
Define performance clearly, tie the reward to that, time it right, and make sure everything's fair.
Yep, those. Well, guess what? Same rules apply to non-monetary rewards. Gotta keep it consistent.
So the employees know what to expect, whether they're going for extra cash or something else they value.
That's the goal. So how do you actually choose those non-monetary rewards? How do you make them really count?
Good question.
Don't just assume you know what people want. That's rule number 1. Best way to find out? Ask them. Surveys, conversations, whatever works.
Yeah, that makes way more sense than just guessing. It shows you care enough to actually, find out.
Right. And be open to, creative stuff. Maybe someone wants a prime parking spot or the chance to work from home a couple days a week.
Or maybe they want to head up some cool new project.
There you go. It's about finding those unique perks. And, those non-monetary rewards, they can be a good way to get people to buy into programs that benefit the company, too.
Also,
Let's say you want to encourage cross-training, so everyone's got more skills. You could offer a bonus for each new skill they master, sure. But maybe what really motivates someone is, I don't know, being recognized at a company meeting for their achievement.
oh, I like that. They get the skills, the company benefits from that, and they get the recognition.
Everybody wins.
So what we're learning here is money matters. It's a tool, but it's not the only my tool.
Right.
Use a mix of stuff, monetary and non-monetary rewards.
Yeah.
Stick to those principles we talked about, and you've got a reward system that actually works.
You've got it. It's about finding that sweet spot, what the individual wants, what helps the company succeed.
All right, so here's something for our listener to think about. What's one change you could make in your own workplace to make those rewards more effective?
Yeah. How can you put this into action?
Start thinking about that. And join us next time for another deep dive.
One last thing before we wrap up. Even when you've got a great reward system in place, motivation, it's complicated.
It really is. And what works for one person doesn't always work for the next person. And people change. What motivates them today might not motivate them a year from now.
Exactly. It's not like you set it and forget it. You got to really
Yeah.
know your people and be willing to adapt and just always be looking for ways to make people feel, valued, appreciated.
I think it's about going beyond just saying good job. It's about creating a sense of like shared success
Yeah.
where everyone feels like they're part of something bigger.
Couldn't have said it better myself. So as you're thinking about all this, the principles, the changes you might make, keep that human element in mind. Connect with your people. Find out what they're striving for. Make it a workplace where everyone can thrive.
I love that. It's not just about like transactions or incentives. It's about making work a more human-centered place.
Exactly. And that's what makes this stuff so interesting. It's about like what makes us tick as humans.
Well, this has been great. A fantastic deep dive into money and motivation. Thanks for sharing your expertise.
My pleasure. Always happy to dig into this stuff.
And to our listener, thanks for joining us. We hope this has given you some useful ideas to take back with you.
Knowledge is power, right?
Yeah.
But only if you use it. So go out there and make a difference.
Keep learning, keep exploring, and we'll see you next time for another deep dive.